it's Fiona Masterson from the Learning Reservoir. In this video, I'm going to give you 8 tips on how to build a strong internal audit team. Time and time again, I work with companies and I see problems in their internal audit program. And really, it often comes down to not having a strong audit team in place. And that's why I put this short video together. So tip number 1, you got to build the right size team. So depending on the size of your company, it could be a large manufacturing company or a small manufacturing company, where you have to have the right size team. You have to look at the scope of your operations. Are you going along the full supply chain? So have you incoming warehouse? Do you have production areas? Do you have sub-assembly areas? What processes have you in place in your company? Do you have a large warehouse, and so on? So you need a big team because depending on the size of the organization, a lot of time can be spent auditing all those different processes. So what I've learned is that an understaffed team can lead to overlooked issues and ineffective audits and tired audits and rushed audits. Recruit diverse skill sets, tip number 2. So you want a team with a lot of different diverse skills. If it's a large company and you have, for example, a laboratory on site, you want to have an internal auditor who has a scientific background depending on the type of lab you have there. If you have a calibration lab on site, you have to audit that. You want to have people with calibration expertise and so on. So the first step is to see what kind of company you have, what are the processes, and make sure that you have the right skill set within that team. And you're also looking for people who have auditing experience. That's good because often really what happens is when you're an auditor, you get better over time. So you want to have a team not just made up of new auditors. You want to have people who maybe have audited in their previous jobs. So you want to have a team of diverse skills. You want people with regulatory knowledge. Now you can train up people obviously on the regulations, but again, you don't want a total newbie team. You want to be able to have some people with some depth of knowledge. You want people to have manufacturing process knowledge, depending on the different manufacturing processes, the filling lines, there's different types of equipment they're using filling lines. Is it a pharmaceutical company, or is it a medical device company, or is it a food company or a drinks manufacturing company? Different type of manufacturing processes are used. So you want to have people with knowledge of the particular manufacturing processes that you have to audit. And of course you want people with strong communication skills. So that's key. So you want to have a nice diverse skill base within your internal auditing team. Often you might see in a company where they pull all the internal auditing team from the quality engineering group, but that's not really that good. You want people maybe from maintenance as well, people from the warehouse. You definitely want people from the production floor. That's really, really important. So you want a nice, strong, diverse skill set. Tip number 3 is provide comprehensive training. So even if you have experienced people on your team, you want to be able to train them up, because in your company you'll do things differently than in the previous company that they worked in. So what is your standard here in your organization regarding quality audits? What do you expect of your team? So they need to be told about that. Even if they come in already trained as auditors, you still need to train them on how you do things in your company. And obviously you have to have them trained in all the different regulations they will be auditing against, all the different standards, and they need training on good auditing techniques. Tip number 4, establish clear communication channels with your internal auditing team. So if you have a large team, you should have regular team meetings with your internal auditing team, where you will have an agenda where you discuss training requirements for the team, for example, status on audits, any problems during audits that they've done, and so on. So have regular team meetings, and this will foster a atmosphere of strength within your team. It'll foster teamwork and so on. So that's really, really important. From my own experience, I found that having regular team meetings with your internal auditing team really brings on the quality of the audits that they conduct. Tip number 5, make sure there's support from management for dual role auditors. So what it means here is frequently in manufacturing companies, you won't have auditors that just do audits. They have a day job. They maybe work in production, they work on the filling lines, they work in the lab, but they're also an internal auditor. And often those people are very busy in their full-time jobs, and sometimes managers don't really want to release them to do audits, or if they do, they don't give them enough of time to prepare for the audit. So be very, very careful if you're managing an audit team and you're recruiting people who from different areas. Make sure that you know that their manager is buying into them being internal auditors, and it's going to free them up to do strong internal audits. Tip number 6, balance technical skills with interpersonal skills. This is very important. You might have somebody who's technically really, really strong, but with poor interpersonal skills. That's not the type of internal auditor you want. You want somebody who's technically strong and has strong communication skills, because audits are not just about going in with a checklist and checking, oh, have you this procedure in place and so on, are you trained, have you this calibration record in place. No, it's about building, fostering rapport with the people you're auditing, because internal audits are where you are checking your own organisation. You're not a third party, so it should be done in a positive manner, and it should be fostering continuous improvement. And you do that by having auditors have both good technical expertise and interpersonal skills. Tip number 7, provide growth opportunities for internal auditors. This is really important. Often people are apprehensive to become internal auditors. So you want to encourage people in your company to become internal auditors. And how do you do that? Well, you tell them, well, if you become an internal auditor, there are growth opportunities. You might start out as a support auditor, and after a certain period and a certain number of audits under your belt, and if you demonstrate the right skill set, you could get trained on lead auditor practice, which is a fantastic qualification to have, and that is a great growth opportunity. So sell the growth opportunities people will have if they become part of your internal audit team. And number 8, mentor new internal auditors for success. This is key. Again, people are often apprehensive about becoming internal auditors. Maybe they're coming from the production area, maybe they feel, I don't know, I'm going to be on a team now with people from the lab. They're maybe a bit apprehensive about that, but mentor those people. And mentoring means they should be doing their audits, their first audits with seasoned auditors. There should be, when preparing for the audit, that seasoned auditor should sit down with them and help them prepare. And then after the audit, they should regroup and find out how that new auditor got on. So that's the final tip I have for you. I've taken these tips from my own professional career, doing audits, leading audits, and supporting auditors. And I feel these 3 things, if you bear them in mind when you're setting up your internal audit teams, you're setting up for success. Thanks for your time. If you need any help with audit training, regulatory training, anything like that, please reach out to us at the Learning Reservoir. And if you like this video, give us a like and subscribe to our channel.